All right, I hit the big red button. We're going to record this because there are a few people that attended the original session that aren't able to attend today, and they want to be able to get this follow-up. So we are recording. I will be muting anybody who doesn't self-mute, just to keep it nice and clean. And we are using a Google form for the sign-in. So please sign in that you're attending so that we have that record. And thank you for joining SDA Seattle. We are thrilled to welcome back Melissa Esquibel, who is going to be doing a follow-up to, was it June? A June session she did for us with tricky numbering bits in Word, since so many of us deal with specs. And she pointed out this stuff also applies to grant writers and some other kinds of proposals. So it's a good thing to learn. So I'm just going to hand it right on over to Melissa and let her take it away.
And I'm really hoping we hit this one out of the park, because I think I feel good about this. So where we're going to go, the methodology, whether you end up modifying an existing document or you end up creating a new document, you're going to be creating templates. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my webcam off. How do I do that? Is my webcam off?
Yes, it is.
Good. Okay. All right. Now I can make funny faces. So, so you are going to be creating templates, if nothing else, just to be able to get back to a clean version of what your numbering should look like for that template. I know some of you.
Melissa, we're losing you.
Numbering, and so you would be setting up a template for each kind of numbering style, but document and then wrangling. So I have stored some text, which I'm going to bring up here, and in fact, whether you want to or not, I'm going to plop that text out into chat. And this is just some vanilla text. You're welcome to copy it and paste it into your own document. But I would say you're going to create this set of text for every numbering style that you have to deal with. So let's say the next one you deal with isn't part 1, but section 1. So you would create another document like this where this says section. That's the first step. Now, you notice on my little notepad here, I have a link. This is a good time then to grab that link, and here's where you find it. Let me pop open Word here. Easy to find, and this is where your templates will be, just so you know where to find them. If you do File, Save As, Blank Document, doesn't matter, Browse, and change your save as type to template. When you click up here, you're going to see this string shrink to a regular path, and just copy that and plot that out into your notepad as well, so that you can easily find your templates. And maybe that's been changed for you. You don't have to save anything after that. Maybe that's been changed for you. Maybe your default template library is elsewhere, but wherever the templates that you're going to create is stored, you want to be able to get back to it. Okay, so you're either going to type or copy and paste this into a blank document. So I'm going to grab this stuff and put it into a blank document. Let me make that a little bigger so we can see what we're doing. All right, right, so we're going to do, we did the file save as, did the template, put that in your file too. We got that far, and that's what that looks like. The next thing is we're going to change the fonts. I noticed that the documents I received were in Times New Roman. So we're going to get a close one and then modify it so it's exactly what we want. We're going to be on the Design tab now in Themes, the Themes area. We're going to get our colors, because the colors are all black and white unless yours are different, and then you can change that as well. Then we're going to save current theme, which is going to save the styles. We're going to save the theme colors themselves so that if we need to reapply the colors for some reason, we can grab those. And we're going to save the font set. So I'm going to come over to the design tab here. We're going to go over to fonts. And the closest one I could find was, I think, this guy. So I'm going to choose it, but then I'm going to go back to fonts and say customize fonts, because I really don't want any Arial text at all. I really do want it all to be Times New Roman. Now, if yours are different, of course, you're going to choose whatever works for you. So let me come down this list. Did I pass it? I did. Got my alphabet, guys. Bear with me. There it is. All right. So right here is where you're going to name it. I always find this a funny place to name something. I always want to see the name up top. So just be aware it's down here. And we can call this, I'm just going to call it SDA starting specs. Now, if you are saving a PowerPoint theme and it has all the branding colors for your organization, make sure you don't use that. Save a different one completely for documents. I normally don't recommend that, but I think in this case, it's good to have everything separated for the documents so that whatever changes you make only affect your documents. So we're going to save our theme fonts. We're going to go over to colors. Again, you can see I saved one earlier, but I'm going to choose a close one, which is, if I go to the out-of-the-box themes, that would be this one, grayscale. I'm going to go into those colors. And again, just like we did with the fonts, customize them. And I'm going to name them first, spec colors. Now, what you're going to find is accent 1, accent 2, accent 3 will start being directly applied to heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. So what I'm going to do here is just change everything out here to black. If there's an easier way to do that and somebody finds it out, please feel free to let me know. And I'm going to go out here and change this. If you are including any diagrams in your documents, they may be affected by this. So rather than use the theme colors, you may have to actually go choose those colors. This really is for text. All right, so we'll click save there. Now under colors, we will see our spec colors, and under fonts, we should see our custom ones up here somewhere. SDA starting specs. Don't do what I did, which is name them 2 different things. Try to name them consistently. Full disclosure, I have now been up for 36 hours on 2 conferences. So if I do silly things like that, you'll hopefully forgive me, but I would name them the same thing. Okay. So now that we've done that, now it's time to set our headings. Although what I would do, just so we don't forget to do it, and at least we can get back this part, is then to save the current theme. And we'll call that spec theme. See, give it 3 different names and you'll never find anything. All right. One of the reasons I put this here, this doesn't serve any automatic purpose. This just lets you keep this top of mind as you are setting up your styles. This doesn't have to live here exactly like this. This is just notes for you. And you can, of course, change that. So we've saved the theme colors, and the font sets. And that was my tip on making sure you choose a different theme name from your PowerPoint ones. Even though they won't be perfect, we're going to now set our heading styles, and they're going to go through several evolutions, as we'll see. The best thing to do is to reserve judgment on how it looks until we've gotten through all these steps. So that multi-level list selection, and the most important thing is, we're back on the Home tab, is remember, we're not going to use this guy. We are going to use this guy right here. Okay, we're going to go to multi-level list and apply whatever's close that has heading styles. It doesn't really matter what you pick. There's just a little bit of sanity in it if you pick something close. I'm going to use this because this is what I have been using and it made the most sense for me. So let's go up to the top, define new multi-level list. So we chose it. Now we're in that multi-level list. Now we're going to start defining what this looks like. The gray numbers down here, anything gray that appears in this field, not that we're not going to delete some, but you want to do so carefully because this is what goes to your auto numbering. I'm going to leave that 1 in place, and I'm going to look back at my notes, and that was going to say part 1. There are more parameters, and we are actually going to use this right here at this point. What we want to change, I don't happen to like tab characters following the numbers. If you use tab characters, that's fine. I just like a space after it. Also, we are going to start setting some indents. We're not going to do that with this one because it's fine where it is. We can leave the rest of it in place. It's going to start at 1 and then increment from there. Now we're going to click on 2. This one, what we actually want to use is that 01 kind of numbering. If you use a 3 level, you can pick that one. Now this is where it all went somewhere in a handbasket last time. Don't change anything here at this point if you want that 101, not here. We're going to change some stuff over here. So it's going to restart it after every level 1, and that's really what we want. It's going to start at 01, increment to 02, and then eventually go to 10, 11, 12. I'm going to make some similar changes here. I'm going to have it followed by a space. I'm going to have it aligned a little bit indented because I want it to align maybe with the beginning of that heading style. All right, so I'm going to have it go there. And now I'm going to move to the 3rd level. And this is the one we want to have say just A. Now, I know that you can use the list styles in here, but I think for you guys, there's going to be a bit of sanity in using all of your levels as heading styles. If you find different, that's fine, but I'm going to set them all up as heading styles because in working in a document like this, that helped me. So for the first time, we're going to get rid of everything that's in here. And we're going to assign the letter and then the period, followed by a space. And now we're going to indent that wherever we want to see it. I'm going to do one more level in here. And you can go in and type alignment, by the way. If you want to make it more precise, you can type it in here. I'm going to do one more level. And again, delete all this jazz. Change this to 1, 2, 3, followed by a period and a space. And I will align this one as well. I'm not changing anything else, but you do need these additional parameters. You need to click on that more button so you can see everything here. All right, so we're happy with this. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to make this my title, not heading 1, but title style. This is going to be my heading 1. Now I'm using the shortcuts for 1, 2, and 3. Control-Alt-1, Control-Alt-2, Control-Alt-3. I can't do Control-Alt-4. Now, for some reason, it wanted to set this as italic. If anything in here, font sizes, colors, anything misbehaves, you can simply change it. I'm going to do Control-I to get rid of the italic. But if you change anything here, make sure you go up to that heading style, right-click, and update it to match selection. Now, since we made a change, I'm going to go to Design, Themes, Save Current Theme, give it the same name. Spec, I think we called it. Yep, Spec Theme. And save it again. Anytime you make any change in here that is going to affect a style, you want to go ahead and make that adjustment. I know you're all anxious to see how the numbers work. We will do that in a minute. So we changed our level 2. We changed our level 3. By the way, if you don't have the handout in front of you, don't worry. Everything you're seeing here on the screen is in your handout. I have included the steps in here, which things that you might want to change, and also the fact that if you don't see all of those fields, to click the More button. So all of these steps are around getting the numbers straight. We did our A formatting, we did our 1. You may choose to go deeper. I don't know at which point there's no return for doing a heading style rather than a list style. Experiment with it, but I would go as far down as you can with a heading style for a couple of reasons. Number 1, for navigation on the left, and number 2, predictability. All right, rinse and repeat for any level that you want to use. Now we're going to save this as a template. Remember, when saving templates, don't change the location that Word gives it. If you forgot to copy the address into your text file, you can do that now, because it will be good if you can find that easily. All right, so File, Save As. I'm going to use this PC. More options. I want to be on this screen. If you're using 2016, 2013, or 2016, by the way, everything I've done here is doable there, but you may already be on this screen when you do a save as. So we're going to change this to Word template. So this is where that goes. And you can see, if you remember, it's the same address that was there before. You do not want to change this. And we're going to call this spec template, and click Save. Anytime you save your template, you want to then close it. So we're going to do File, Close. File New. We're going to create a blank document now. We're going to go find that. It's going to be in our personal templates. There's our spec template. And it has this text in it already. You don't have to keep it, but I like keeping this in the template to remind me, in case my naming convention wasn't great, what all that is supposed to look like and what order it's supposed to be in. So if I wanted to start creating a document at this point, I'm just going to delete everything. And this is my document title. This is my first part. This is my subheading. I'm making stuff up here. Subheading and subheading. And then I'm going to do a second part and then copy this stuff because I don't want to keep typing it. And then maybe we'll even do a third part. Get it started with your first few, just so you can see how it works. Now we said our document title is going to be title. I'm going to do Control-Alt-1, Control-Alt-2, Control-Alt-3, and heading 4. And you can see it didn't give me that italic. I'm going to do the same thing here. So second part, Control-Alt-1, gave us the right numbering. Control-Alt-2, you can see it picked up the section, so now we're at 2-01. Control-Alt-3, doesn't matter which one you're in, it's going to be A, B, C, D, and heading 4. We'll do that one more time. Control-Alt-1, Control-Alt-2, Control-Alt-3, and heading 4. Let's go in and see what happens to all that numbering now. So we're going to press Enter here and type in another subheading, Control-Alt-2, and even another one, and make it Control-Alt-2. So now let's go to see what happens down here. Enter. Second subheading, Control-Alt-2. It is continuing the numbers just the way we wanted it to. This doesn't change within a subheading, but this does. And if you look out here on the navigation pane on the left, it becomes very easy then to navigate this document. So let's catch up with my steps. We saved it as a template. We did file new. We look for our own custom templates. Again, depending on the version, yours might say personal templates, yours might say something else. But remember, it's going to be wherever that template link is, so you can find it if you need to. We located our template, and then we started typing our document. Let me take a pause at this point. I'm going to turn my camera back on. I don't want to do that, right? Let me do this. Uh-oh. There we go. Move this out of the way. How do I bring you all back? There you are, I think. All right. Comments, questions. I want to stop here at this point before we get into the wrangling the old document and clear up any questions that you might have so far. If you're still on,
Melissa.
yes.
So if I go through a document I get, I apply all of the steps you made, and then the project manager then needs to go back and edit it. Am I going to have to explain applying the heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 to the project manager so it looks right?
If the project manager is going to be adding subheadings, I would show them the basics of saying, you know, here's 4, and just show them, you know, Control-Alt-2.
Gotcha.
Now, worst case, if they don't do that, if they just type it in and tab it over, your clue, because, you know, that's going to happen because you know how folks are, right? So we're going to type in 1.04 over here. We're going to say, wow, that's too small. Let me make it big like the other one. Where is, there it is. So yeah, that looks like the right size. Let me go ahead and indent things over. Yeah, that's roughly in the same spot, and put a space and type something. That is likely to happen. Of course, when you go in there to press enter and do another one, Control-Alt-2, it happened to pick up this number. What I find interesting is just because of the way I typed it, it seems to have picked up the heading style. I wasn't expecting that, Kurt.
Good to know. Thanks.
Yeah. So it's, I wouldn't say it's boss proof. I mean, there still is that, you know, I don't want to use a 1, I want to use a, you know, something else. But when you click in something they've added, so if you run a compare on your current document or you're comparing versions, one place to look is see what happened up here. We went here and we so noticed it picked up a heading 2. Life is good. We may need to go do some adjustments on capitalization, but it should be okay. Now, if they're typing the text that goes underneath it, and they start hitting their tab here or their indent or whatever they're going to use. Let's say they're going to hit tabs because that's what people like to do. And they hit tabs and they don't like the way that looks and they start typing spaces. It's okay. Just know that when you see that, first of all, work with show hide on. That's going to tell on them. That's going to tell on what happened over here. And if you just select it, and I think I taught this the last time, Control spacebar should bring it back to normal. Did it? Yeah, it brought it back to normal style. And you can just get rid of, you know, anything that is bringing it to the wrong place and bring it backspace and press enter and then make this normal. Let's see what that does. It does go all the way back. So this is something that I've yet to address. See, now, yeah, you guys are, I knew there was going to be something here. So the text that also needs to be indented, wherever we need it to be indented from, that needs to be set in the style. I'm going to take a brief detour if I don't solve it in 2 seconds. as always, I will get back to you guys. If I do a modify here, style based for the following paragraph. We may need to set a normal indented style. So we may need to create then styles for underneath those. I'm looking here, style for following paragraph. Yeah, everything down here goes to this. Looking down here in the code, after 0 points, keep with next, keep lines together, outline level, aligned at 0.75. Following style normal. I wonder if it's in here that we can add that. Let me bookmark that, Kurt, because I think that's a potential to happen. One of the best things you can, if you can convince them to just go there and hit enter and type in their headings or type in their text and let you do the reformatting. If you know they won't go for that, let them do whatever they're going to do, including this one that automatically reformatted itself. And let me work on that text after the heading solution. That's a good question. Let me get back to my little notepad here. Paragraph style after heading. All right.
While you're there, Melissa, can you also, so if you hit return after the 1.05, I think we got 1.06, right? If you hit a
no, it won't. It's whatever we tell it. So it's going to go to normal style. What we have to do is get it to adopt the indentation of this one.
And if we wanted to change 1.05 to say a subheading, so A, people would normally just tab
right
at the beginning of that, right?
Let's see what happens when we do that. Let's see if it does the same thing.
Exactly.
And it did go back and it changed it to heading 3. So it's a matter of getting the indents right. And
Gotcha.
that did clear it. Right. So it's a matter of getting the indents right, but it will keep the numbering for them.
Gotcha.
And then if you press this one, it goes to normal. And then I just hit, I swear to God, this is what I did. I typed B and a space, and it immediately went in line with the one before it.
It's trying to be smart.
It's trying to be smart, like my 7-year-old granddaughter, and sometimes she succeeds. Other times it's annoying. So yeah, but experiment with this. I think if they go to type and they just want to do it the way they've always done it, you're still going to be okay for the headings. It's the text part, but we can figure that one out. We can figure that one out. Okay, any other questions, comments, feedback? You were happy with me until Kurt asked about this, I know it. I'm still going to take you to dinner when you come to Spain, Kurt.
I'm trying to replicate what you were doing. I didn't quite get it, but I think I will with watching this over again. But
right, the tricky part, the hardest work is here.
Yeah.
Right, this is the trickiest part, and it's getting to figure out what goes in here. I still want to see if it's something in here that I can deal with following the paragraph following it, but I haven't figured it out yet. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, my link level to style is blank when I come in, and they all say no style. And that's not a field that you changed on yours. Your Word came up with a link level style already pre-filled.
In a blank document.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you do Control N, do you see this set or no?
Hang on, let me get a new, the normal set?
Yeah, just a blank document, blank default Word document.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you've got all that here. That's why we start with a blank.
Yeah.
And then all I did by grabbing that text, this is what I used in here then set all my fonts and all that good stuff. I'm going to cheat a little bit and go grab my theme.
Yep, I got the fonts and the colors. I got those.
And then applying the styles up here, title, heading 1, Control Alt 1, heading 2, Control Alt 2, heading 3, Control. Look at that. It just, when I went to this.
But Control Alt 1 does nothing for me. Maybe that's my problem.
Okay, so you're going to use your heading 1 style up here. What bothers me though is that it rewrote my, oh, right, because I'm never again starting from a blank. What I am starting from is my template, right? So let's go ahead and prove that one out. Do I have it up here? Spec template. There it is. So that's one of the other good reasons to work from a spec template is everything is already indented. So don't hesitate to come back at me. Now, the one thing I worry about with the shortcuts, if Control Alt 1 isn't doing that for you, if it isn't setting heading 1, something has been, reserved that shortcut. I don't like it when systems do that because we tend to depend on these, but you should always be able to go back up here and assign it.
Okay, I'll play with that. Good.
Okay, so coming back to this, and then we'll take another stop, of course. Wrangling an old one. So I have one of the ones that I think one of you guys sent me, more or less. It was this. This is the document I got. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Control A, a Control C. I'm going to leave that document alone. I'm going to do a Control A here and paste, not just a paste, but a paste use destination theme. Now, anything that has a heading style should be fine. Although here it is, you know, right? So we're going to use heading 1. We're going to do a heading 2. It didn't adopt the heading style, so heading 2. You can see how it's duplicating the kind of the lettering and the numbering. That, unfortunately, is going to be part of the cleanup thing. Okay, so there is a little pain here. You have to be careful what you delete, but you are going to delete the things nearest the text. The things that are farthest out here left, you need to leave alone. The one thing I'm wondering if we can do, let me go back a bunch of times here. What if, I don't know if this is any easier or not, but let me do paste text. No, it still took all that nomenclature with it. So I don't think that's pasting text is going to help us either, because if I do, again, Control Alt 1, it's grabbing that from me. So I knew this morning when I was putting this, you know, giving this its test run. There is always going to be some leftover numbering if it was there to start with. If you can go in and delete all your numbering or replace it with some piece of text that says this is heading 2, and then you can just apply all your heading styles, that's a possibility. But there is always going to be a cleanup of leftover numbering. That I was not able to deal with. So we wanted to just go like this, where we get a wrinkly puppy, and at the end of the whole thing, it's a smooth puppy, but not until we iron it, right? Not until it is a completely different animal. Now, another thing you can do is open your old document, perform the style customizations, in other words, resetting that again, resetting your heading 1, 2, 3, 4. And maybe that's I'm not saying this because it's a bad way to go. Maybe that's the way to go. So let me grab the other document. Let's see what happens when we do that. So we're going to go, this is title, so we should be happy with that. I'm going to go to this guy. I'm going to go to my define multi-level list. And we're going to make heading 1. We're okay with, no, we're not okay with that. We need this one. We want to follow it with a space. Maybe you want to follow it with a tab, again, up to you, and click OK. Now that one, we did not, yeah, we do need to fix that. Hang on, my bad. Let me go back here, multi-level list. We don't want just the one, we actually want it to say part 1. It's still leaving the leftover text. So I think any way you slice it, if this was typed in as part of it, you're going to have to get rid of the extra kind of number pieces. Not ideal, but you might need to reset that for every document and get rid of those headings. In the end, after that editing, you will be left with a document that you can then send on, knowing that those heading styles are now fixed. If somebody else wants to make some changes to it, that's fine. You just go back over what they did. If it didn't change it to heading 2, you can make it a heading 2 or a heading 3 or whatever it is. So yeah, piece of cake, not really. But as we think about this solution, and if you want to put air quotes around the solution, you may. But if you're going to work with a document that has heading styles with numbering that is not repeatable, or something where the heading styles have really just been hand typed, you are going to need to make some manual changes initially, but not every time after that when you go to the document. So it's like if you're wearing a bathing suit, you know, and you want to try it on, but you want to try it on over your ski suit, you're not going to know how it looks. You are going to have to go remove most of that old stuff in order to see what it really looks like. And then you have to negotiate what that looks like and perhaps tweak indents. But every time you tweak the style, go in and save current theme. And if you want to, it can be spec 1, spec 2, spec 3, or if you have a more descriptive name. But don't undo a previous spec, previous theme that you set up if it worked for a previous document. Set a new one up if you need to tweak where it's indenting from. So there's a little bit of negotiation of leftover text here. Create multiple templates if needed. I'm not going anywhere, guys, regardless of what the thank you thing said. Talk to me. Tell me, other than the following paragraph thing, which I know we have to fix, what else have we not addressed?
All right, this is your chance, folks.
And if you want to, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Regarding the paragraph after, can't we use the body text style for that, or will that mess up the numbering?
You know what? Let's give it a shot. I like that idea. I hadn't thought about body text. So let me do file. I'm going to go from a fresh template. And let me go into this one and do a right click, modify, and do body. Here it is, body text. So our heading 1 is just going to be body text. New documents based on this template. Probably want to do that. And OK. Let's see what happens now when I press enter. So does body text work? And now let's do our heading 2, because that will be the proof in the pudding here. So come up here, right click, modify, following body text 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's press enter. Where is body text 2 here? It is not giving it to me. So let me come back into heading 2. But I think you've hit on the answer there, body text 2, but I am going to need to format that paragraph and have it indented where I have my heading 2. So let's see where I have my heading 2 indented. My heading 2 is indented at 0.4, first line, 0.35. We don't, yeah, right? So this is going to have to be not hanging. It is going to be first line. Okay, endpoint 4. So if that's the case, go back. And this is going to be it's not pulling in body text, but I think you are on the right track. Let's see if it used it. All right, rather than have you guys watch me click around, that's what I'm going to go look at. But I think you're on the right track of making it body text and making sure that body text is set at the right indent. We don't like that. We like that. And what I can't get is why it's not showing me the style here.
Well, if you only have the recommended one, it doesn't show you all the styles. You have to open it up
You have
so
to
you can modify it.
Right. So now that I've done that, is it in here? No. Okay, but there it is. And what I'm hoping would be able to do, I like it when they had it in the right click menu before, is to actually have it show up here. Yeah, body text, right. Add to the styles gallery. There it is. Some of you knew that, you just weren't telling me. Okay, so now I should be able to come up here and see it, but I can't. All right, that's the one that's making me nuts, guys. That's my next endeavor. Because it should be showing it in there. How about in use? I give up. All right, but that's what I'm going to go look for. More questions, comments, feedback, suggestions, things you think we should try. Does this solve part of the problem that we had with numbering?
Having a good template in place would make all those edits that need to happen quicker, certainly. I've struggled getting the good template and getting those parts to number properly from 1.01 to 2.01. And Word fights you if you try to do it just in line. So having that up.
So you don't want 1.01, 1.02, and then 2.01, 2.02?
Yeah, it was getting that second part to be recognized as a 2.01 that for me was always a really big speed bump. So having those set up as the list, as one of those lists that you can apply should definitely help that issue. Yeah.
Finding it down here, finding it. You know, I always just stop there not realizing, oh yeah, look at all that other great stuff that you can use, the 002 and all these other styles of numbers. But I am really not happy about the following text and the body text, but I'll go ahead and get that one solved. For that one, guys, what I'll do is a video for you and I'll send it on to Carrie. And then you can distribute the video on that following text solution. Of course, if one of you comes up with it and wants to be a hero, share it with me. What didn't this solution do? So what's still missing from this solution for you guys, other than this thing?
After you do part 2, when you move to part 2 and then 202, 201, 202, does it still work? You've
So
got
here-
part 1 working, but will
We're gonna
part
press-
2 work?
We're going to do it. So we're going to press 1. This is my part 2 heading. So heading part 2. And as soon as I make this heading 1, and then say this is going to be my next level, Control Alt 2 or heading 2, it will automatically go to 2.01. And then if I do
Good.
another one, Control Alt 2, it will increment it. This will do.
Good.
And again, you can get as creative as you want. It was mastering the multi-level list. Now, anytime you want to go in and change it, and it may seem not intuitive, but if you click here and go define new multi-level list, it's going to give you what is already set up. So you can see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we're not using that. So I'm only going to go with that. But if you think you're going to use these heading styles, then you want to set them here too.
Okay.
I don't even want to mess with that. Okay, more. What didn't we address with this? So when I go off and do this thing, I go fix anything else we didn't address. Kurt, how are you feeling about folks modifying these documents? What do you think the challenges are going to be?
I think the challenge is that everyone is going to do it slightly different. So there won't be just one solution, because we'll be getting the document from project manager A, who does tabs and puts things in, and project manager B, you know, does spaces, and then we also get them from consultants too, and that's a whole
Right.
another story.
And save each template with their name. Literally save each template with their name. This is George, this is Peggy, this is Ivan, this is Irene. I mean, just save the template with their name. And when you know you're working on something for them, file new, find their template. Now you have their preferred numbering. You're still going to have to do some cleanup on whatever they did until you can show them or send them a blank document to use all the time if they're creating one. The Control Alt 1 or heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, there's nothing more for if they're doing bold and italic right now, this is no harder than that. If they're hitting indent, this is no harder than that. It's a couple of clicks. It is new, it is different, it'll take some time. But I think if you can make it a click and give them their own template, you might be surprised that over time, some of them are able to give you a document that's mostly there, and then you don't have to get rid of, you know, the part one thing.
Yeah, it might be, if we could get an office template as best that we could, started and saved, and then maybe we have an internal office spec 101 just orientation on that template. I think that might be a good starting point for the project managers.
Right. That is a really good approach. Well, if you send the document around to everybody and the training, the first part of the training is this. So let me get to a vanilla document based on that thing. So if everyone gets sent this, step number 1 is for everyone to go file, save as, template, and put whatever they want. You know, this is Bob's template. Have them
Actually,
save that
Melissa,
on there.
that brings up I just noticed, for the templates that are saved, they get saved to the individual users folder, so it's not a office-wide placement of the file.
Right. Are you Office 365, Kurt?
We're not as a whole office, no.
Okay.
We're transitioning.
Are you a SharePoint shop?
Nope.
Okay, so the answer is yes, it will be saved on the individual's
Yep.
file.
Gotcha.
When you get upgraded, I want to share something with you. If you do a file save as, I'm sorry, file options is what I want, and you go to save here, you can actually set this to be where your Office templates go. You can actually set this up as another templates library. So that's possible. But what I think the most straightforward thing, because you don't want anyone to have to do too many things that are too different. But if you have them, step number one, open up the document I sent you, do file save as, and call it John's template, Bob's template, Mary's template. And then the next thing is to show them how something like this grows. So you can just delete it all and you can say, this is my title. Here, did I actually change it? I didn't. Hang on. So this is my title, and then they're coming down here, and this is going to be 1. Tell them don't type in part 1. Just type in the name of the part. And then Control-Alt-1, or alternatively, have them go to the next row and just hit Control-Alt-1 or hit 1, and then they can type in the name of the part. And if they want to do another part, Control-Alt-1. Here's another part. Or again, using these buttons up here, heading 1. And this is what a lot of people are going to do if they're building it from scratch. They're going to kind of get an outline. Also get them used to using the navigation pane. When they find out how nice that is to use, they're going to want to be able to do that. So show them if they will, use their heading styles, they'll be able to do that really easily. And now as we're getting ready to fill out the document, okay, this is the sub stuff. Control-Alt-2 or Control-Alt-2 and my heading. And then we'll figure out the text here. Sorry about the motorcycles. And if they want to indent it, they can. If they want to send it to you not indented and let you do that until we figure out the body text thing, that's fine. But if they want to indent it, nothing bad will happen. So that, I think that's a good thought. What you might consider doing is, what version of Office are you on, Kurt? I can't hear you if you're
I think
talking.
he's on 19.
Okay, perfect.
Maybe
So,
365. He might have a 365, but
I have
Okay.
365. I'm one of like 5 or 6 people in our office, so everyone else is on 19, I believe.
I think we're on 19.
Okay, the only reason I'm asking is not because of use, but for you, I'm going to show you it. And I think you were probably on my PowerPoint webinars at some point, but what I would actually do, let me get this to the correct defaults. That would be here. Here's something you can do if you want to, create some training for them. And this is what I'm going to do when I figure out the whole body text thing. Let me get the document up. Okay, so I would start it here on that. Insert media. You should be able to do this, screen recording. And you can leave audio on and recorded audio. I'm going to turn it off because I don't want to hear myself. And I'm going to select that part of the screen and hit record. And you can show them this is step 1, file, save as, browse, template, Kurt's template. Tell them to put their name in there and then file, close. And then we're going to tell them from now on, you do file, new, and you're going to find, it'll be up here eventually, but until it is, it will now be down here. Let's find Kurt's template, use it just the way they would. They won't have these many personal templates because no one has as many as I do. Right, and so there it is, and you can just show them, you can put your own title in. You can delete all of this. You don't need to keep it. And you can type, don't type part, and show them to hit heading 1. Don't type 1.01, show them to go hit heading 2. If you've got, you know, Excel whiz kids that like shortcuts, you can show them Control-Alt-2. So you can give them this kind of a video. Let me stop it now. Let me go over here and do a stop. And what you've done out here in PowerPoint is create a video that does everything I just did. Now, you don't have to send them the PowerPoint. What you would do is do a right-click, save media as a media file, you know, how to use this template. You can save it out to your shared drives. You can save it out to SharePoint. You can save it out to your intranet and send everybody the attachment and this link. And the link will open up the video and kind of give them a little bit of a how-to. Does that make sense?
That's a good way to do it.
And then it's always out there almost as an FAQ, you know,
I
how to
don't
set
have
up.
to say it 10 times for new staff and people who forget.
Would I like to respond to the caller that has now called me 3 times for the same thing? And say, sure, no problem, happy to explain it to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that email I sent you and I'm going to click on that video link and I'll explain it as the video is playing. And then I never get a call back after that one. There's a reason I can't hold down a real job, guys. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yes, we are recording this. Yes, this is being recorded. So we will put this on our chapter's YouTube channel and you'll get a link. So it will be a YouTube video that I will send you a link to. But yes, this Melissa's presentation. So you can definitely go back and pause, try it on the screen, play, pause, which is what I will do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of video. And then, of course, the handout has all the steps in it. And I would encourage you, and I'm really glad I had recorded some of this on video for myself just to make sure I could do it if all else failed. But record the video and save it out there for yourself because you're going to set up some that you use all the time. And then you're not going to do it for a really long time. And you're going to know, how do we do this again? Set up your own video on setting up heading styles.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. All right, going once, last chance for questions, follow up. If you kind of missed a bit there, if it didn't make sense. Otherwise, we're just about the
I never actually disappear, right? So y'all know that you can get a hold of me. And I would love, I would say we're at this point a 90% solution. I want to bring this to a 99 to 100% solution. Because then if I died the next day, I could die happy. Right now, I would die tortured.
Unanswered questions.
Yes, not easy being me, guys. Okay.
All right. Melissa, thank you. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate this. I think this definitely goes a long ways towards filling in that gap we had. So
awesome.
Definitely appreciate it.
Take care, everybody. Be well.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy your day. Enjoy, I guess it's your afternoon, isn't it, Melissa?
It is almost 8 this evening.
Oh,
evening.
Well, enjoy your evening. All right.
Yes,
thanks, everybody.
9:30. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.